What's cooking, guys? I printed the most recent iteration of our laptop stand, and I'm using it right now. And unexpectedly, it's no longer the most recent iteration. I have gone ahead and made some more. So let me explain what this first one is. Why did I make this part extend? I did it because my laptop, I put it in the stand, and it was hitting this curve. So my laptop is kind of floating right there. And the reason it happened is because I generally design these with the imagination of a rectangular laptop. Obviously, if I have a rectangular based laptop, there's no way it's ever going to touch this curve. But a lot of laptops, if this is the top of the keyboard and this is the bottom, it's beveled, which means that we need to account for infinitely thin, or essentially if the bevel is the same as the angle it's sitting at. So this first iteration deals with that. If I draw a line that goes from here to here, it literally hits the start of this curve, which means that unless your laptop is curved at the bottom, no laptop should ever hit this curve. So that was our first iteration and fix. The next thing we did is I wanted to normalize the curves, because right now these ones, the amount of segments in the curve, in each of these curves, is somewhat random. These ones that are the same size, I use the same base circle, so they're all the same. But this one, and this one, there's no logic between how many segments there are. And the segments were visible on the print, so that's what made me start thinking about it. So if we extrude this, you can see how many segments there are here, and how many segments there are here, and how many segments there are here, and that there's even some like breakage and like random stuff that just needed to be cleaned up. So if we extrude this one, you will see my first attempt at this. This one, they are a little bit off. You'll see that these look like bigger segments than like these ones, and these ones look like possibly smaller than both. And the reason that is because I was choosing the amount of segments to have in the arc based on the diameter, and that was kind of iffy because the segments are part of the circumference. So, and that's like a whole formula to get from diameter to circumference, which includes pi, I think. So our last iteration was accounting for that, and now all of our arcs have segments of the exact same length. So each one of these segments on each one of these arcs is 1/16 of an inch, which in terms of printing means you won't see it, and in terms of design means that they are all equally as detailed. So that's good. And one little thing which I was trying to fix just because of errors like this, these are real segments and these are like hidden geometry. SketchUp counts this arc as like a mathematical formula, while this one is, I broke it and now it is like it had to draw the lines manually. So I wanted to make sure that all of these curves were mathematical formulas as well within SketchUp. So those are all three of our iterations, and I do have some additional notes I want to say about this design. First is that I had not printed any of the designs that were this high. My last print was this high, and I think this might be like a whole inch taller. And one of the first things I noticed is it is wobbly. It's like top heavy. Not actually top heavy, but it's just prone to toppling if you don't have a super sturdy desk, or if you like don't put your laptop in normally, if like you put it at a weird angle. Either way. And personally, I'm still going to have these at 7/16 inch width because my use case is to put them in my backpack and I need to maintain that. But I did want to point it out here because you can very easily just make them thicker and they won't topple. And then the last note I wanted to make is I actually talked to the person who 3D printed these, which I hadn't done previously, and they took like 7 hours to print, which I don't like because it just seems like too much. Not in terms of like relative to the print, like why did it take so long, but it seems like too much effort to put in for such a simple object. So the last thing I want to say is most places that would have a 3D printer in terms of like a makerspace would also have a laser cutter. This is literally a stencil. I would recommend laser cutting it if you were to get these, just because it's just an easier process. But aside from all of our updates and stuff, I do not currently see me making any more updates, just because the ones that I printed right now work perfectly fine. So there's no reason for me to print this next one, which means I would have no feedback to make another iteration. So until these stands break or something, I won't be printing any. Or if I find really cheap access to a laser cutter, I will probably just grab these, because I don't think it would be that tough. Yeah, it's a pause on the iterations, and I'm very happy with the work I've done. I hope you guys have liked this little video series of me making laptop stands. So, see you guys in the next video.